The best you have to be able to look at the people who are destroying this country. Uh, the U.S. election, the one of them that is contesting will probably be a dead person by now. Circumstance. Once you are there, there's a lot of people that want to kill you. One finance minister we had in this country, good person, they brought up issue of NYC certificate, all fabricated. At the end of the day, the person left. Not because the person was just stopping shopping. So the people we need are not good people. They are strong people. And until strength matches strength, this nation will not move forward. So my goal for the next 10 years is to raise strong young people. And maybe together in another 10 years, we can hold this nation and make it prosperous. Would that be a good thing to commit to? Be a good thing to commit to. So I'm not going to focus so much on national growth. That's not going to be the central theme. The central theme for the next 10 years will be you, you as a person, you as Dr. Nancy, you as Dr. Zainab, you as Dr. Ibe, Dr. Praise, you as in you. Because if you is better, everything gets better. Gets better. You is better, everything gets better. There's nothing that can't change. There's nothing that can't change. There's nothing. There's nothing that can change. There's nothing that can change. Zainab, you could be the president of this country. Ah, she said she prays so. I just want us to stay together. Right. So 1 plus 1. 2. Why are you not praying so? Why are you not praying so? You're convinced you know the answer. Right. Once conviction sets in, anything can happen. So the biggest tax is to be convinced. Nothing else. You are not praying that 1 plus 1 should be 2 because you were deceived into believing that, like you were indoctrinated into believing that 1 plus 1 is 2. And just mark my word, because I'm going to be shift will be extremely very successful, but I have to shift something in you. We run a business, and one of our store assistants wrapped in one of our end of retreat, one of our retreats, and the whole place was lightened up. So in one of my meetings with them, I said, so what's the difference between, his name is Isa, what's the difference between Isa and Davido? What's the difference? Eh? It's not thinking. The day something convinces him that he's meant to be a Davido, his actions will change. As I was in Port Harcourt, something convinced me that I was going to be a billionaire. That's all. All that needs to change is your thought. The day something convinces Dr. Zainab that she's going to be the president of this country. That's all. Nothing can stop a convinced person. Death cannot. People cannot. And that's how God made them. Once there's conviction, everything gives way. So the biggest tax is to be convinced that this will pull through. Biggest tax. And I was wishing Isa will come. Maybe somebody should invite him. We can take him as an experiment and from this room turn him into a star. Maybe I'm even eager to do that experiment. We can pick Isa and tell him, because the only thing that will undo that experiment is if he's bothered with the meager money he's taking. Why did I become skinny? I became so convinced about what it is I wanted to achieve. I cut down the number of food I eat. Because it was taking away my savings. Maslow said there are 5 hierarchies. The last one is self-actualization. The first one is basic. People who won't amount to anything are still bothered about those basics. I will not die. The beautiful thing God did? God didn't make our stomach glass. You didn't understand. You can survive on Gary 20 years following your dream. Nobody will see. Just imagine everybody sees what it is that you eat. I was leading I was leading a young group in school, and after dishing out the lessons, I will go back and I will take Gary without sugar. And we will still have meeting by 3. And I will come like the whole world was in my hand. We will need to, at some point, bury pain and allow our dreams fly. Like you will bury it. You will not live for what to eat. Is it not an abuse of your person? And there are quite a lot of people that are living for what to put in their mouth. Jerry is here. I was in just one room. not even knowing I borrowed money from Jerry. It didn't matter to me. What mattered was the picture I'd convinced myself will happen. It's an abuse of your person to wake up every morning looking for daily bread. Let me put it better. It's an abuse of the capacity of your mind to wake up every morning. And what we all know is rat race. I've seen a lot of people, they wake up every, so you want to ask me, maybe there will be time for question and answer, we'll take question and answer. So how do you manage? You will not die. Bread and water that you eat for two while nurturing your dream. Do it. Our stomach is not glass. In this dispensation, we will act and live like the whole world is ours. People will not be able to connect the two because they will not believe that. So why this person? Some people have even had issues with my the way I speak because they could not connect my present reality. Even my friend, there was a time we had a meeting, and he said he will come to my one room. They converted it to an orphanage. I rented one room. Then it was one student mattress, and my dream was on the wall. So he came in and he said, I'd always written billionaire at 40. If you are close to me, you will know that. And then it was one student mattress. And I don't even know when I borrowed money. Maybe he came to ask for his money. I don't know. I didn't know. But one mattress, one room, and then a dream. Circumstances will give way for a dream. We give way for a dream. You all are going to be dream focused. Because focus will decide everything. And Dr. Sika, one day I woke up, I say we will have the largest chain of veterinary stores. Arguably, right? Farmerland has one of the largest distribution currently, right? And I keep telling our team, we've not scratched the surface. There is a conviction in my head that will happen. You can wake up and say in another 5 years, what's the name of your practice? You've had the name. Or very powerful. You can say it will be, and there's no stopping. Oh. You can say it will be the biggest in the world. Will you believe that foreign ports in another 5 years will be the biggest in the world? You sincerely in the world, not in Nigeria, in the world. Do you believe? Let me tell you the biggest news. Other people's opinion doesn't matter. Other people's opinion doesn't matter. One day I sent my wife something and she wanted to thank me and then she started crying. So When she calmed down, I asked her, so why? She said, I've been saying it, but she's just going along. Your parents' opinion doesn't matter. Your spouse's opinion doesn't matter. The opinion that matters on this journey is what you think. If that changes, that's all. So I modified what I wanted to say a little bit because of the discussion, and we will pick it up subsequently. So I changed the title. So we will stay at this title. Am I a fool? 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 I want us to listen attentively. I want us to listen attentively. I want us to listen attentively. I want to figure out how best to say this, because if you get this, then we are done for today. Let's take a few questions and we'll be done for today. So, 1 plus 1, Dr. Zena, 2, fantastic. 1 plus 1 is 2, fantastic. 1 plus 1 is 2, fantastic. No, you are saying differently. Don't worry. 1 plus 1 is 2. Dr. Asika, 1 plus 1 is 2. Mr. Isaac, 1 plus 1 is 2, fantastic. Why did we all give the same answer? Because we were indoctrinated by the same system. Okay, thank you. Let's take this again. 2 plus 2, 4, fantastic. 2 plus 2, fantastic. 2 plus 2, fantastic. 2 plus 2, fantastic. Dr. Asika, 2 plus 2. Isaac, 2 plus 2. So, why did we all give the same answer? You were indoctrinated by the same system. We need to pay attention. Nothing is until it is defined. Nothing is until defined. Nothing is until it is defined. I have a 1-year-old son. He turned 1 in February. So this is July, March, April, May, June, July. 1 year, 5 months. So he sees all of us talk and he mumbles. You will not understand what he's saying, but he keeps mumbling. And he's talking, he's expressing himself. That expression is unique to him. It's unique to him. That expression is coming from his person. You might say his speech is not well developed, but that's his uniqueness. Right. Now, the first thing he could call that we could understand is daddy. Now he calls both daddy and mommy. Every other thing he calls one day it occurred to me that he is losing himself. Didn't get it. It occurred to me that as we grow up, we lose all our uniqueness into the word's definition. Some of us huh, have lost everything in us. We are now other people's definition. Right? And we will need to break that because if you don't break that, you will be poor. God sees my heart, you will be. I need to shift a definition in your head to shift your life. So, as adults have been buried into an existing system, an existing system, buried into an existing system. You are not the one living your life. There's a culture, a system that's been absorbed by you that you're living out. Right. So if you will change it, you will have to risk, get comfortable in being called a fool again. You will have to. It's not culturally acceptable to be called a fool. But if something has to change fundamentally, you have to get comfortable in being called a fool. Like my son, I think I will need chisel here. I wore white, came here with white, and then I started this issue of watermark, and it got stained, so I had to go and change. Like my son, this is we came clear, came really very clear, all of us. They call it okay. Now, hope we know that we are our thoughts. The fundamental or the foundation of human being is thought. Why did you plait your hair? Don't think about it. Just give general answer. You're a lady. Yes. Yes. Why didn't you plait your hair? Uh, yes. Fundamentally, you think you're a man, right? Are there men? Now that plaits their hair. Huh? All right. When we were growing up, just relax. Just stay by me. You can sit down. Don't worry. Enjoy the stage. Or are you doing something? Okay. When you're done. Okay, good. Are there men that plait their hair? Why do they do that? Why do men fashion indoctrination? Somebody somewhere, and I, I don't want to jump what it is I want to do, right? I can convince you enough to want to be a woman. Like if I know what to do and I stay with you and you stay with that thought for a year, wishing you are not a man, you will wishing you, and then you want to change into being a woman. So you are not you, you are your thought. Because once your thought changes, everything about you, the way you talk, the way you. So I don't smoke. Right? I'm not sure I've ever heard smoke a cigarette. There are people who smoke and they are not sure they can stay a day without smoking. What's the difference? We are all human. Is the way we process thoughts. So if something fundamentally changes our thought, that thing will change you. If something changes your thought, that thing changes you as a person. 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 Changes you in a fundamental way as a person. Changes you. So what you should pay attention to are thought processes. Right. So Jason, please come. This is a poster color. Right. We all came to life. It's called it tabula rasa. Have you heard of the concept tabula rasa? What's head of tabula rasa? What's it? Empty, empty plate. You can Google it. Tabula rasa. Empty plate. Welcome. Relax. We all come empty. Like anything can be written into our lives. The color we take is the color that predominates in our environment, from our parents, from whatever it is. And you will need to understand this. So, please, can you paint this red? This light, what? How can you define this light? What color is this light? Let's say colorless, right? Chai! This life has changed to red. Chisel, you have done a bad thing. Did she pour anything away? Right. Because you don't need to pour your life away. You just need to introduce another thought. And your life turns to what color is this? Right. This is colorless. This is red. Let's call this red poverty. This person grew up in an environment where everybody was poor. Everybody didn't have money. Fortunately, the person's life. This person, this is how this person will be. He's doomed for life. Color this yellow. This person grew up probably in another environment. Understand this, that you came colorless. You're being painted by experiences. So the life you're most likely living now are experiences of others. I told you my son now calls daddy, looks at me and calls daddy because he saw my other children calling me daddy. He's losing his uniqueness, burying his uniqueness into our system. So whether we like it or not, we're indoctrinating him. That's why all your answers were four, because we all attended an indoctrination that said 2 plus 2 is 4. If any one of you here attended school in mass, hope you know gravity is different, where 2 plus 2 is 34, will be convinced that everybody here is wrong and you're right because you have believed in indoctrination. This is another life. Hope you know they were all the same, but they are now taking different colors. Is that correct? Paint this one green. Our poster mask. Paint it green. Do you know the best way to know your color? Do you know the best way to know your color? Check the results in your life. Don't argue. Don't argue. Just check. What's your account balance? Because if you don't do that fundamentally, think that someday you wake up and be another person. Meanwhile, your colors are different. Right? So we have people coming to the world like this and like this, and their different experiences shapes their lives. Thank you. You can go and see. So what's this color? Green. What's this color? Yellow. What's this color? Red. Sorry. So how do you, uh, I've said it in a meeting and I want to say it again. How do you, my big bottle water, can you bring? So how do you change? If you notice that, can you fill it up with water? Can you fill it up with water? And then I need a bowl. Fill it up with. So how do you start changing color? Let's say this is red and it's poverty. Unfortunately, just very difficult for this red to deliver him or herself from that poverty. So how do you start changing? And that's where I'm going. I'm going to end in another 10 minutes so that we can take questions. I'm going to make this a series. Uh, How do you start changing? I said in my TED talk, said in my TED talk, and uh, oh, no, so I need something bigger. I said in my TED talk that the mind needs three things, right? And I'll stay with one and we will end. But before then, I want to do like a quick example. Please come. Chisom, please come. All right. And this is Doc, stay here. Chisom, please stay there. Or maybe both of you can come exactly. So stay so that we can be on the stage. Because this is how best I can explain. And I use this example everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. Because you cannot fight something that is already you. Uh, all right, so that's good. So you keep it. You cannot fight. Assume this is your reality and this is what you want, right? So stay with me. This is the person who all of a sudden, by being part of this meeting, realizes that, hi, okay. So I usually give this thing in academic session. My position, I think it was 43rd, and we're 45 in the class. So it was, I've always not been a bright student. But now I'm convinced I'm very bright. Oh. I might not say it out. Uh-huh. Because, people have issues with people talking with confidence. So I tame some down. But I make up my mind I want to do something. And you are competing. We will compete. So let's assume that this is the person in question. He came up like a baby. And just like my son, he has been indoctrinated. He has been indoctrinated by him. What we do in Africa that we don't understand is that this is poverty, right? And that's what he doesn't want. So the average African, that's why even in my one room, I wasn't fighting poverty. So what the average African person does is that this is what he doesn't want. But he will be talking and he will be binding poverty. I bind you. I fight you. Don't let anybody deceive you into poverty alleviation. It's a structured system that wants you to focus on poverty. It's a deception. Poverty alleviation is a deception. Use that title. Because our mind is us. and it functions with focus. Functions with focus. So here, see, this is what he doesn't want, but this is what he wants to alleviate. You cannot send out darkness, sending out darkness. So this is that I sent that. He goes to attend poverty alleviation program. What is the title? What is the title of the program he's attending? Poverty alleviation. What is he writing on his book as the title of the seminar? What is he focusing on? What is he saying? Who is he listening to? He cannot change it. Cannot. That's why we cannot change this country. Talking bad about it. Cannot. He's focusing on it. He's fighting. Yet, and there's a reason why this meeting might not be always full. But if you tell people there is enemy from this, okay, you might not believe. There's no enemy. Have you seen people who attend 1 week program destroying the enemy from the village? So what are you destroying? Enemy. What are you focusing on? They will pounce on you. So what we need to do is to forget that this exists. Despite you're close to it. Look at it. Oh. Despite you're close to it. You have to ignore it. You have to. You have to. I can turn the, the dullest person in the class into the smartest person with these principles. So he's close to poverty, but his orientation has changed. So his journey to wealth has started. So who is he close to? Or what's he facing now? So what you need to do now is to start attending wealth creation. That's what he said. No poverty alleviation. Anything that wants to deceive you, to say somebody else is responsible for, there are 3 people you cannot help. Eh? The first step is the person who wants you to be more involved in their life than they are willing to be involved with their life. You know the second set of people. The second set of people that you cannot help is the person who thinks that somebody else is responsible for his failure or his success. Once you give your power away, one day my dad said I should be very careful that they are going to come. He said that I don't understand how powerful. I said, if the witches come out like this, I will hug them. I will hug them. I said, if you are that, if they can do what he's saying they can do, I rather want their power. They cannot fly. They cannot fly. If you can fly to destroy people, eh? Convert that engine to plane. Do you know how many planes flies every month? Over 3,003 million. It's a whole industry. If they can do it, they will leave that which is, they leave that profession and become wealthy. They cannot do it, don't worry. But you will not believe me, don't worry. So he is focusing on wealth now. So you engage. The more he focuses, that's the interesting thing. He will start moving. At this point, he's not too close again like he was, but he's still far. That's why it takes time. So, and that's where being a fool starts again, because you have to lose everything you've believed to what it is that you were before, and start saying, what if I'm wrong? Right? What if 1+1 is not 2? This moment of vulnerability brings you back to your default setting. You don't you don't get it. This moment of vulnerability, I had to tell myself it's possible. What it is my parent has taught me will not bring money because they don't have money. Like that. Eh? They will wake up every morning advising me on how to make money. I want to say something really very nasty. Let me not say. You have to come to that point of vulnerability again, where you question everything. What happens with the moment of vulnerability? Old lessons. Huh? This is when you can write your life again. So, Anticom, paint this thing green. Paint it green. You are now a rich man. A rich man. What's this color? Thank you. Okay, in 10 years, your account balance will be 10 billion. Just imagine, your account balance is 10 billion. So we are going to stick together. What we are going to be doing is focusing on you being vulnerable again. If I don't get you to that point, I cannot help you being vulnerable so that you can come back to where you were before. Then you can accept new lessons. Thank you. Please sit down. I want to stop at this juncture and take questions. Take questions. So what I want to do going forward, and this is the inaugural meeting, I don't know which is convenient for people, is so before questions, right? Which is convenient, Saturdays or Monday evening, which is more convenient. Sunday. Okay, let's take it Sunday afternoon, but not Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon is more convenient. All right. Okay. Saturday afternoon is more convenient. All right. So Monday evening is more convenient. Raise up your hand. Sunday one. Okay, so we will change it to Sunday. Right? Maybe Sunday afternoon, 4 to 6 or 3 to 5, which is better. Huh? And so it doesn't necessarily mean don't come 2 to 4. Don't come because don't come out of obligation. Come if you want to come. Right? I, you know, I belong to uh, a religious organization, and one day I got off stage and said that you don't have to come if you're not convinced, and they got angry at me. You're not doing me. See, I don't have that ego. Come because you want to come, not because I'm asking you to come. That's okay. I don't have a problem. Today, if we were few or we were one this week, because you have to start from one, right? That's it. So come because you want to come. So I'm going to be taking these things once every week, but opening us up to what has changed me fundamentally. We didn't, we're just laying the foundation. What has changed me fundamentally, and how can we together become successful? You will need to be successful to be able to give out success. You will need to. You don't. You cannot bend it. You will need to be successful to be able to give out success. Is what you have that we want. If we commit to this journey together in 10 years, we will be at that right point where we can pick up this country and make it successful. Not for ourselves, because we are already, for our children. The future of our children is at stake if we keep managing the resources of this country the way it's been managed currently. And so we will share the time. If you want to invite someone, why not? Why not? We will keep it at 2 hours. The first 30 minutes will be for discussion, where among us we will pick somebody among us and we'll discuss a few things together. After that, we will now come back and have like an hour for me and then 30 minutes for questions. Let's get questions. Do you want to ask any question? Or did you learn anything today? Let me say this finally, please, before that. So I said you have to be vulnerable and they have to paint you again. So what was I doing before I, so I, these days now, and it's laziness, don't mind it. So it's not like it's something I'm very proud of. I can't go to Lagos again now on the road. Like, I cannot. The mental stress. Like, I cannot think of traveling from Abuja now to Lagos by road. But I used to do standing. Who has done standing before? Standing. No, if you don't understand it, don't worry. People that have done that. From Kaduna, where my parents were in Kaduna then to Port Harcourt, standing. From night bus. This is how you are going to stand from Kaduna to Port Harcourt. And if you are very tired, you look for somewhere on the floor to go and rest and sit. Because I think it's cheaper then. If you're paying 5,000 for normal seat, you will pay like 1,500 or 2,000 for standing. Right. So, I knew that that was my reality. When I eventually got to Port Harcourt, I will go to where planes fly, the airport there. And sometimes I will stay almost the whole day watching how planes fly. And I'll keep telling myself, one day, this plane, I will enter it. One day, this plane, I will enter it. What you need to do is to expose yourself to what you want long enough for you to believe it will happen for you. I will start with that next week. What you want to do is to expose yourself long enough for what you want, for you to be convinced that one day it will happen. My first flight, somebody paid for it. I paid for the West Dr. Nancy. I was the one that paid for her first flight. I cannot count in my finger the number of sex experiences I've given to people. It's Dr. Nancy. She was going to serve and she was going to be an outlier with us. And I asked her, have you flown a plane before? Flown in a plane before? She said no. We sent her a ticket. If I've not done it for people, I've done it for more than 10. Once I asked, you have not flown a plane. Ashka, have you flown? You have not entered a plane. We should buy a ticket for him now. You will like it. You have to keep what it is that you want long enough in front of you until you think it's your second nature. So let's take questions. Any question? Right, go ahead. Dr. Nancy, I did something behind you. Okay. Well, you heard? All right, good. Is that correct? Thank you. I'm
Thank you
happy
so
to do
much
that.
for thanks so much, sir, for experience today. So I asked a question previously on the video about the learning. I like that compared
Yep,
with learning.
yep.
So I want to ask, is there a possibility that there is a type of profit not
So I don't understand what you mean by profit not.
like
What you have learned, you will become. What you don't
So,
want, so there is passive learning. Whether you like it or not, you are learning something. You're picking from the environment. Whether by default. So what you want to do is to be an active learner. When you're giving birth to, this is how you are. If you don't do something intentionally, this color will not be green. Yellow will come and do you like this. Black will come and do you like this. Brown will come and do you like this. Red. By the time people's life doesn't come out with any clear color any longer. And that's why they want to commit suicide. They don't know themselves. Adults, they are adults who are not clear on where they are going or who it is that they are. And let's not think far. 90% of people in Nigeria, they are buried their uniqueness in societal norms. You are either actively learning or passively learning. If you say it doesn't profit something, it profit is you, everything. What's your profession? You're a vet, right? You learned it. I have to tell myself I'm not a vet to succeed. Like I have to tell myself I'm not a vet to succeed. Question, yes.
okay, so discover what you want to do. Discover what you want to do, like in the long run. At some point, you know that okay, one is after that, proper connections. It's after that dream. Literally, you don't really have much assets, so you do intentionally.
So thank you. Now his question, that's the issue with almost everybody. And that's why I said you cannot focus on what you don't have, even if you're close to it. Did you see the example we gave? This is question. He's focusing on what he doesn't have. You will not break free. Abi, his question is focusing on what he doesn't have. The reason why he's asking that question is because that's the predominant thought. Uh, You will have to lose every sense of what it is that you don't have. Uncle, you have me. Does he have me? He focuses on what it is that he has. He will be extremely very successful. My parents couldn't take me to where. How did I make Dangote? I have two people I focus on actively. House. You will see Dangote picture. I put his picture. Put my picture by side. I printed it with my money. Because when I wake up, it's not the people I want to be, the person I want to become. So my mind will always reproduce after what it is I constantly see. I wake up. Your family might think it's insulting. But if you are successful, don't mind the harsh reality. It is what it is. Dr. Ashika, can your dad buy you a private jet? Eh? Oh, sorry about that. Your dad's alive? Can he buy you a private jet? For sure. Don't do it like you're despising them. I respect my parents, but I understand reality. If what is around me cannot give me what it is that I want, I will have to place another reality in front of me, and it has to be intentional. You have something. In fact, you are. I used to say, I'm one call away from. I'm being with someone, and Tinubu called the person. Like I was literally with the person, and Tinubu, President Tinubu, I'm one call away from the president. And I like to see it that way because having that mindset just brings you into the consciousness of what it is that you can explore. Days after my birthday, I started calling 100 billion, 100 billion. I need a contract now. 100 billion. This 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 20 million. And not solve all our problems. Right? So I'm building the connection to a 100 billion contract. To edit this part out. So you have something. Don't allow your mind focus on what it is I don't. When your mind is drifting towards difficulty, consciously swat your mind into the possibility. So you ask yourself, what do you have? I have Dr. Fem. And don't let this humility deceive you. All right, let's take the next question. Good.
Able to advance.
So,
The second question is what over and over again that you wish that question would be by someone who he or she is looking at take on other roles just to keep funding what he or she is a yes, you intentional person to ensure that he still focuses or that he or she still focuses on that part.
all right, thank you. I think your third question, somebody asked me yesterday too, that was, most of our concerns are usually financial, right? Maybe I would take an entire series on how it is to work on your finances. It's a different, finances is a different discipline, not even different discipline, and it can be resolved quickly. Resolved quickly. Finances can be resolved quickly. So depend, but finances can be resolved less than a year. So next week Sunday, maybe we should talk about that. It can be resolved very quickly. There are hard truths, but if we let go of that hard truth, let's discuss it next week Sunday. But it can be resolved very quickly. And we can together make a commitment that in 6 months, finances will not be anybody's fears, any your issue again, like we can resolve it. You might not live in affluence, like buy a private jet in 6 months, but you will be able to cover all your basic needs. And I will be a lot more practical on how it. I learned that very late, but we can, or very useful lessons. So on handling rejection. So you cannot prevent it. People will reject you, people down on you. You cannot prevent it. Few reasons you don't opinion. And you cannot get angry at people's opinion. This is me, this is you, this is what you. So what I would rather say is to quickly learn how to first forgive yourself. But sometimes it's your own personal mistakes that make people, and it can be. I've made, there was a time I made a few mistakes, and somebody saw me in a different light. And the person has the right to, because It's you. And maybe I've even validated that opinion. So, but on a growth path, you have to learn how to quickly forgive yourself. Like I did it. I did it. It was my blunder. It was my mistake. And move forward. What should not happen is people should label you and you should accept the label. Don't do that. But don't accept people's label. And people hardly forgive anyway. But you have to forgive yourself. So once you do, and people still have that opinion about you, just continue. I know it's difficult because we live in a society where everyone can say, ah, that's the guy that stole. That's the guy that stole. Learn to look at them and say, I stole and so what? I did it. I've changed. But you don't even need to tell them you have changed. Yes, I did it. So now, if you say it this way, uh, people might think you're arrogant, you are unrepentant, and they will come after you. So have the maturity to apologize if it's your fault. But in your inner self, tell yourself, I stole, I'm sorry, I've changed. Free yourself. But ultimately, don't allow anybody's opinion drown you. Don't allow anybody's opinion. What it is that I would have started early to end here. I would have left my association earlier. Earlier. I would have left my association earlier. My association played a big role to an average of the 5%. I know we have heard this. Simple as that sentence. Huh? The big sentence. So right now, I'm suggesting that you can be president, right? The associations that talk you down shows you your weakness, shows you your limitation. There are associations that shows you your possibility. And those are the associations you need. If I were to go back, I would have changed my association much more earlier. Maybe I would have gone way further than where I am today. All right. You held the mic, right? You want to ask the question quickly, and then we need to leave. Okay, great.
So,
Yes, 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 yes. It's normal. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with it. But what you need to do, and that's the biggest part of it, goal has to be in front of you. Because that's what keeps you standing when you fall. It has to be. But more importantly, come to that point where you're vulnerable. Keep asking people. You know, when I said I would have changed my relationship earlier, it's for one simple reason. Because as I fought, the other people said, why are you trying again? They are down. He who is down needs to fear no fault. But when you change your circle, somebody drew my attention. I was in a meeting and drew my attention. And the person said, me, I'm always relating with people who are bigger than me. For two reasons. For two reasons. First of all, they are up there. My child walks because he sees everybody in the house walks. So even if he falls, what he's seeing every day is that I am not doing like this. If supposing all through his growing up to this point, everybody in the house does like this, the desire to want to stand up will not be there. So if you fall, I cannot count how many times my son fell. Like I cannot count. He will fall, he will stand, how many times in a day I cannot count. But he's walking among people who are standing until he grows to that point, he will not give up. The problem is that you're walking among people who are already down. But the good thing is that you're feeling bad that you fell. So change your circle to people who are already standing in the places where you fell. First of all, the energy will be different. More importantly, you can ask them questions. See, how did you overcome this? I'm trying to now transcend into not working where I'm working. I'm working on it. So I told my team that I need to start learning how to do executive meetings, board meetings, have one meeting, strategic meeting, define the next 5 years. This is where we are going, and find people. Not doing it myself now. The stage I am now is to find people who will excel. I need to be comfortable with somebody smarter than me. But there's a way to lead somebody who is smarter than you. You cannot be saying, oh boy, something they worry you. Your language changes. Your predisposition changes because your level now has changed. Don't stay among people who think poorly. Okay. More importantly, don't stay with people who are well without any desire to rise up. But keep standing up, but more importantly, stay amidst people who have solved what it is that is bringing you down. And curiosity doesn't kill a cat, it grows it. It grows it. The lesson, somebody asked me around these finances, and I said it's easy to solve. I've solved it. But it took me time of standing up, falling. Then I just realized that it's math. Oh. It's math. Money is math. There's nothing else. And what's the math? And it's because you are not paying attention to it. Money comes to you, you spend everything. I mean, don't you know that you are not supposed to spend everything? You save, if you've been saving 10%, don't allow family deceive you. And I'm beginning to get into finances because the biggest issue for young people in Africa, my mom didn't talk to me for a while. Why? She called me. She was going for a burial. She said they have to sew a clothes. I said, Mommy, wear what you have. I said, wear what you have. She got angry. And so everybody will be wearing the same thing. It's only her that. I said, did I have the funds to give her? Yes. But it was meant to be a seed, not to be sewing clothes to impress other people. You need to let your relationship, especially the one around you, that you're not responsible for the chaos. You're not responsible for their chaos. So don't stay around people who normalize the thing you are trying to solve. Stay among people who have solved it. Once you stay among them, the conversation is different. You said issue of finances, and I think it's a major issue, right? Hear my conversation. I said it's easy. So what is following you? Somebody is saying it's easy. Is that mind that you need to be able to rise and not fall again. So stay at it. Let's leave this thing till next week. I want to thank every one of you. Oh, one more question. Quickly, but we need to stop.
So much.
Thank you too.
I think it's you talked about convention earlier,
Yes, yes.
and it struck me. And I think for an inaugural event like this, I think it's paramount. Some questions should be asked concerning this, because in Nigeria we know our society, and knowing that growing up, most of our dreams were tailored by our parents. Somewhat, maybe growing up, you say, I want my child to be a medical doctor or a lawyer or stuff. So most of the young people right now are actually in a space whereby they are not ready,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So in such situations, and then talking about convictions, I think one of the best questions should be how do you get yourself to where you want to be amidst the fact that you are in the space where you don't want to be?
You will naturally solve it if you're part of this thing going. You know, this issue of deep-rooted thing that the society has buried in you is not something we can finish in one conversation. But look at it this way: when you are, and I understand our parents' concern, but if they've lived, we can learn from everything that they've become or that they are and build on it. But you cannot live their life. Some parents live, they want to live their life again through their children. So we can address that in a separate meeting. I think we can stop here. My question is, will you continue coming? This thing is 10 years. This journey is 10 years. Until I can say that we want to build an airport. What's your name, please? John. John, can you spare 30 billion? And he said, oh, yes, boss. What account you like? Like 10-year journey. And we'll take it through because I don't want to take too much of our time. I want to thank every one of us for coming. We will hold this weekly, and my own appeal is that if you think you learned something and you are part of this thing, this is the place we only use. The time will come, we'll be coming so that more people can join online. I don't have the desire of making it to leverage our online platform so that more people can, so that we can keep it small. So with these very few points of mine, I want to thank every one of you. If you have any questions, you have my number, you can ask. And then once I have the spare time, I'm going to. So thank you, everybody. And then I think have a wonderful